I know you all want an update, and all of the family has been called in and really speaking very straightforward. It's not really a matter or a question of if, but when. And so we are, of a family, have gathered, and we want Dad's, is this what the Lord desires? We want his last days to be comfortable. We want him to be surrounded by his family. Matthew and I went to the hospital before we came to church this morning. Jennifer and Joanna and Mother and her sister Peggy, they're there. We want you to continue to lift up Mother in prayer. You can imagine how difficult this time is, and she only leaves the hospital to go home and clean up a little bit and get a quick bite to eat, and then she's back in the hospital. And so we want you to continue to pray for the family and to pray for Mother that she'll have strength. And as I said, it's sad, but at the same time, everyone's race is going to be finished one day. But when you know where the finish line is, and you know who's waiting at the end of that finish line to say, "Welcome home, thou good and faithful servant." And I know I'm his son, but I say this, and I am right. There has been no greater example of a good and faithful servant than my father. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. A man who lived his life for the cause of Christ. Mother said, she said just a couple of days before, thank you, before everything happened, she said he literally woke her up in the middle of the night and he was preaching. And she said the next night, the same thing. He woke her up. And she said, I just laid there listening to him as he was preaching the gospel. Because that's who he is. A preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I know you all want an update. I want to give you an update. I wish it was good news. But today we met with the doctor and we had to make some in the process of making some very difficult and hard decisions. We have called all of the family to come into town, the grandkids that haven't been here, and Joanna and Cliff, for a family meeting on Friday. And barring a miracle from the Lord, and the Lord is the giver of miracles, but we are facing the end. And we would just ask that you would keep the mother in prayer. It's a heavy weight upon her shoulders. And we thank each and every one of you for your prayers, and those of you that are watching all of the emails that we've received from all over the world. We appreciate it. All of the texts that I've gotten and phone calls, and I'm so appreciative to the Church of God. They have, as a denomination, they have stepped up strong in their calls to me and their emails, and not only the rank and file, but the leadership of that denomination, and Southern Baptist ministers and pastors. Can't really say the same for some other denominations, but we'll have to leave that in God's hands. And but it's a tough time, but the family, we are strong, and we will be, as I said, we'll be having a meeting with the entire family Friday, and it's the next couple of days will be hard days with the things that we have to discuss. So just keep us in your prayers during this time. And didn't want to be a downer, but I told you I'd be transparent. Not going to hide or keep anything from you. I'm not going to paint a rah-rah picture if there's no rah-rah picture to paint. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I think that's the way that you want it. So just keep us.
I welcome you guys back on here. If you consider subscribing, liking, and also share this video. So the latest update coming in from the Jimmy Swaggart family that was released on 28th. That is of June 2025. The Swaggart family came out through the son, that is Donny, and spoke about the father, the Reverend, the bishop, the man of God, Jimmy Swaggart, the grandfather, and he said, Donny, that the Swaggart family will hold a meeting to discuss the next steps for the family patriarch and pastor evangelist Jimmy Swaggart, who actually suffered a cardiac arrest that was on June 15th. Jimmy's son Donny says he's facing the end, and during the worship service that we also this past Wednesday evening at the family worship center in Baton Rouge, he announced that his family is in the process of making some very, very difficult and hard decisions. He said, we have called all the family, to come to town, the grandkids that haven't been here, the likes of Joanna and Cliff, for a family meeting. Donny said he also told the congregation that they're going to they are facing the end. Jimmy Swaggart is facing the end, and unless there is a miracle from the Lord to take place, it's very unlikely that good news will come in. He thanked everyone for their prayers and positive messages, and the family, they're really standing strong, as he actually concluded in that service that they will be having a meeting with the entire family, and of course the days ahead will surely be very, very difficult. Very, very sad, man. But of course we are hoping some positive news. We are praying. It's not really something very nice to hear that there is nothing positive from the hospital. The doctors have tried to do whatever they can, and of course the family, by the way, they are saying no one should tell them what to do or not to do, because they actually have the sole responsibility to look after their dad, their grandfather, and of course the pastor. And they're saying you should respect their privacy as they're going through a very difficult time. We also saw the wife Frances Swaggart also coming out to speak about this whole situation, and man, the decision has to be made, and some tough days ahead. But of course we are praying, and we are still positive, and we are hoping for a miracle. Let us continue praying for the Swaggart family and the popular Reverend, that is Bishop Reverend Jimmy Swaggart.